Hello, my name is Tendai and welcome to my YouTube channel where we talk about dancing, video editing, and I also have interviews with a few featured guests. Myself, I've been running my side hustles for almost 2 years now, and today I'm going to talk about the top 5 things that I wish I knew when I started. So I'll start with the most important one, the first one. So it's okay to be afraid. Being afraid is actually a good sign because it means somewhere in your mind you're recognizing that there's risk to what I'm doing. So the only thing that you have to get through is through the fear phase, and just the idea that in everything that you do, be it you succeed, be it you fail. Myself, I experiment all the time. Some things are good ideas, some are not so good ideas, but everything that I do, I always pick up on something so that when I try it the next time, you build on what you did the last time. And on top of that, most people have a short memory, so they only remember the last thing you do. So if you mess up once, the next time you just need to make sure that you make up for the last time you messed up. Number 2, the second one builds on the first one. So in everything that you do with your side hustle, there's value to it. And usually at the start, sometimes some things you might do them now and they might benefit you next year. Sometimes for myself, I do a lot of promoting, I do a lot of advertising. So some people ask me why I do it so much. But I know like some of the things that I'm doing today, they'll help me next year. So it's just a matter of understanding your value, and all the little things that you do, eventually they'll add up to something bigger. And you might not get the benefits today, but the challenge is just to stay strong, just to stay motivated, and all the little things that you do, eventually they'll add up to something big. And sometimes not everyone might agree with what you're doing. It's okay, it's part of life. So the third one I realized is a little bit later on, but I think this one is actually critical. So essentially when you start, ideally you want your friends, people within your social circles to help you at the start. But at some point you need to break through from that start phase to the next level. So that's where you start, that's where you always want to be thinking about the common person, the everyday person. So how can the everyday person, the common person who doesn't know you, know more about what you do? So what I did myself, I only did this year, but I think this is one of the first things that I should have done. I got a banner this year. So this banner, it is my face there, it is my contact information, and it is a bit of dancing. It shows what I'm doing, what I do. So the good thing with this banner that I've noticed, my contact information is there. More people actually, it's just like I get credibility that way. And just a side note, so if you want to get a banner for yourself, I have a link to Amazon, a good banner that you could use for events. Some of them you can make them customizable, but it just gives you a form of identity. Because sometimes you might be doing something and you might be busy interacting with customers, and then some people are just curious to see what you're doing. Sometimes they might just get your contact information there and they might reach to you. Point number 4, I think this one is really important for you personally when you're doing a side hustle. But there's more to life than your side hustle. And I find a lot of people fall into this trap, especially early on. You're trying to cut down on your budget, you're trying to make the most of what you're doing. But ultimately you don't have to do everything yourself. So there's many programs like Fiverr. Myself, I have a link below in the description. There's many professional services that you can get through Fiverr. Be it video editing, be it your accounting, be it anything that you want to do, be it if you want someone to do still things in Photoshop for you. But I find when you're doing a side hustle, there's a lot of things that you have to do, and you don't want to fall into the trap of trying to do everything yourself, but sometimes it can become overwhelming. And as a business too, you can claim some of those expenses for the services that you get. So to finish off, I'm going to talk about the last one, number 5. So I think this one is fairly important. So I know a lot of times people talk about finding your niche and then specializing in one thing, getting good in one thing. But I personally think the whole point of working online and doing a side hustle, you're trying to diversify your income, because things change. What might be fashionable today might not be fashionable next year. And you don't want to be, especially at the start, you don't want to be at that point where you're putting all your eggs in one basket. So this is what I try to do. I'm starting to do it more now. But as you're working through your side hustle, you're going to learn a few things. So it's a big learning process. And the secret is try to find ways to repackage some of those things that you're learning into other services that you can sell to other people. So myself, I started off with my dancing gig. I was just teaching a few people. Then we started doing events, private classes, and then we actually started getting into a community to partner with other people to do more events. So right just within the dancing part, this diversified my income. And then I was also working through the dancing, I had to learn the video editing, And because I've done it for so long, I can now sell the service. I packaged it into another service that I sell people. And I'm starting to, because I've made a lot of videos like this one that I'm making right now. I have learned through the process. So I'm also getting to be a content creator, making videos through YouTube. You can monetize it through that way. So YouTube might be popular today, might not be popular tomorrow, but that just positions me in a point where like I'm still going through this discovery process. Few side hustles are coming along the way, and I feel like at the start, eventually you become very good at something. You stand out in one thing, and sometimes the thing that you end up standing out might not be the thing that you started off the first time. So before I let you go, thank you very much for investing your time to learn through some of these videos. I have a link in the description below to some of the gear that I used. So this microphone, I love it a lot. It works for recording outdoors, indoors. I also have my camera stand. And if there is anything, just give me your feedback in your comments. Let me know what you think, even some of the things that have worked for you in your side hustles. So take care and till next time.